All right, I am super excited right now because I have what arrived in the mail today is my new LCD screen, so that I can create my AGS-101 modded Game Boy Advanced. And I started this video a while ago. I picked up a Game Boy Advance SP that I was going to sacrifice the screen from in order to do the mod. And what I goofed on is that I got an AGS-001, which is not the same as an AGS-101. So that when I got everything buttoned together and I turned it on to test it for the very first time, this happened. All right. And it doesn't work. So I looked into finding in a Game Boy Advanced SP that I could sacrifice, but it just it was just as cost effective to buy one of these kits. I think I just found one from a Chinese supplier, and it comes with came with like these little red screwdrivers, which I now have a pretty big collection of at this point. It comes with the 40-pin adapter, and then the I guess this like is some type of power supply, and then a glass holographic screen, which again I have lots of those and I don't need that. And finally, the one thing, the most important part of this is the screen, is the new screen. So having gone through all of the case modifications, I'm actually going to show you the start of the last video that I had tried to make, and then I'll jump back to modern day with this brand new screen. But keep in mind, if I'm talking about the screen that I'm going to be putting in or anything else, that screen did not work, and this is the one that I've bought to replace it. All right, here we go with the AGS backlit mod. In my previous video, I salvaged a backlit screen from a Game Boy Advance SP. I salvaged this motherboard from another Game Boy Advance, and I've picked up all of the hardware and materials that I'm going to need in order to complete this modification. First things first, if you haven't done this before, like I have not done this before, so you're gonna kind of watch me stumble my way through it, but you're gonna need some things. Obviously, one are the motherboard and the screen. You're going to need a new case and screen with whatever theme you want to go with. I'm going with the Super Famicom theme, so I have all the different colored buttons and that. You'll also need an adapter, like a special cable. Now, shout out to Retro Modding, where I bought all of the case and buttons for this from them, but they have a really good aspect of their website. When you go to buy this, you can, they have like a couple paragraphs written up about which one you need to buy, and based on that's based on the screen that you pull out, and then the screen that you have the screen that you have to put in. So if you have those two things, you'll be able to determine what cable that you should buy. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way, the things that I don't really need right now. You're also going to need a Sharpie, or that's kind of optional. I'm going to use it just to illustrate certain aspects of what I'm doing. I always use this. I always find a reason to use the X-Acto knife, but you will need those and a chisel tip blades. Is that chisel tip? I guess, yeah. It's just the blunt end. Also, if you have some of the security drivers, you're going to need that. The first thing I want to do is I want to just sort of mess with the case right now. Before I get going, I want to make sure it's going to look good when it's closed. And I'm looking at this, and I can kind of see there are some things on the seams that are just sort of not looking right. All right, that looks much better. So one thing that I want to do is, I want to make sure that I'm very protective of that case or of the screen, and so I'm going to install that pretty soon. But I guess before I do, this screen, the glass is still on it, but when I test fit it, there are some things that won't fit quite right, and so I'm going to highlight the areas that I'm actually going to cut off. I'm going to use that blunt end, the chisel tip X-Acto knife, to remove these areas. And then down here, I don't need to remove all of this. However, I think it'll just be easier to remove all of it, not have to mess around with test fitting it, removing more, test fitting it, and removing more. So there we go. I'm going to stop talking because I'm probably going to speed up the footage of me cutting all of this stuff out. So not talking, starting now. There are several times where it's like, oh, am I done? And I just notice the light hits it a certain way, and it's like, wait, there's another high spot. I'll have to whittle down. I did discover towards the end, especially on this thin one on the outside, was pretty helpful is on these corners I just went straight up and down, and then I was able to pop them off fairly easily, all of those smaller segments. So there you go, an amateur tip for you. Now before I get everything else ready, I'm going to kind of brush all this junk aside. I do want to get I want to get that screen in now. So before I put the screen in, I want to put the glass in. That's what I intended to say. I want to do that because I'm going to be flipping it over, and I don't want that damaged at all. I didn't put it in earlier because I knew I was going to be cutting, and with my track record, and there were several times when I got really close, I would likely cut, just gouge the screen. Alright, so we have this 3M double stick tape, but this, of course, not every, there we go. There's that. It's not perfect. I probably just got a fingerprint on there too. If that is the case, I'll fix it later. One thing that I didn't realize when I bought this, wait, is this glass or plastic? I thought it was going to be plastic, but I feel it doesn't sound like the other plastic screens. Wait a second. Oh. What? There's still another layer? Oh my god. What's going on with this thing? This is absurd. That's not good that I... There we go. Jeez Louise. Okay. There we go. Now, here's hoping that all of those little fingerprints are on the outside. Now, I mean, I can actually put everything together. So I have all my buttons in place. Not the shoulder buttons. Where did those go? They're here somewhere. Here we go. Alright, I have my shoulder buttons, and then also the those side pieces way over there. Now, in the previous video, I had it was actually from my Game Boy Advance, the kind of Pokeball style one. There were some seams on the ends of these that I had to kind of scrape off and buff out, and I've done the same thing for this. I don't like those big visible seams. To me, you know, the scuffing that's still visible on the end of these is much less noticeable than big, giant seams from the injection molding process. So let's see, I'm going to take silicone pads out, and I'll take out my board. Now, there's actually two things that you can do. So this adapter is going to go in here, and then this will go in there as it wraps around. There are some little tabs on the case, I forget which one, that this is kind of held into. I have everything all set up. I have my screen in. It looks pretty clear of its clear fingerprints. What side is that fingerprint on? Okay. So now I can place this in. I don't have any type of double stick tape, but you know, side to side, it's pretty snug, and if it's butted up against that top part, that should be fine. Now, I have to figure out what the correct orientation is for this. So right here, this is where the item, where the little tabs secure on. They just snug in right there. I'm going to tape this down with some electrical tape. Here's my knife. There seems to be no way around having to fold the ribbon cable because of the way that the AGS-101 screen is, like the ribbon cable is designed. You just, it's something that you just have to deal with. Oh, that slid down, so. All right, so that is in place. We would have, I make sure, I have this terrible habit of forgetting critical things, which then force me to reassemble the entire, or disassemble and then reassemble the entire device. What am I doing? Here we go. To get the correct orientation. I have taken apart these so many times in the process of trying to get a this mod completed that I feel like I'm an expert at it at this point. Do you want to? All right, that ribbon cable is secured. Put the screen back in. The ribbon cable is notched right there. And then I can now secure this into place. Now, before I really go crazy and have everything mounted and put perfectly how I want it, I gotta test it out, because I don't know. The ribbon cable might not be oriented properly. Any number of things could be going wrong right now, and I do not want to. I don't want to redo this. I really, really don't want to redo this. Where did that screw just fall out of? Yeah, I just really don't want to redo this. I want to put this together and be able to. Noise. Okay, so it powers on, but as you can see, it's not showing anything. So that means something's not oriented properly, and that's fine. That's why I test it. It's been a while since I took this apart. And one of the biggest problems with just letting stuff sit on your workbench is that, you know what, sometimes that you forget how stuff is supposed to work. So the first thing I'm going to try is, because there are 4 orientations that this could possibly be, and so I'm going to keep this facing up, and I'm going to. Or did I not clip that down? Well, that could have been the problem right there. So now I have to retest this. All right. How are we doing? Oh, still nothing. All right, that was not the issue. All right, so it was those were facing up. This time we'll have them facing down. Put this right back in. All right. That's not it. Now I'm going to flip this. Aha! All right, there we go. We got it. Perfect. I'm going to take this out. Now we can button this all up. Oh, I'm so stoked about this. All right, so I am... All right, I don't want this marred by fingerprints at all, so I just want to make certain that anything, you know, this is not going to be all screwed up and ugly. Ooh, that looks beautiful. All right, so that's going to go there. I do have, there's a piece of plastic right here that I will remove now. All right, so this is going to just drop in right there. I'm going to secure the ribbon right there, and then secure the folded ribbon. I do want to get this red cord. I'm not going to solder that in place. It looks plenty bright enough how it is, and I'll compare it to the SP-101, and I can also compare it to my standard Game Boy Advance, and we'll see the difference between those three different types of machine. Ooh, all right, so this is what I was talking about where I forget critical things. Here's the start and select buttons that I need to have in there. Fairly critical to playing any game. Now I also have to All right, here it is all assembled. I have my nasty fingerprints all over that beautiful plastic screen. Let's get that buffed out, looking nice and sharp. So it's good to go. The only thing left to do is to put on the manufacturer sticker. When I was doing my Game Boy, my Pokeball themed Game Boy Advance build, which I'm still in love with this thing. I think it looks so cool. I hunted down some custom stickers, and I don't think this is part of the build. And I got a ton of them. I have like Dragon Ball Z, Castlevania, Hello Kitty, Rockman. I don't know who Rockman is. Some of these are games that I think were maybe Japanese exclusive ones. Here's a Fire Emblem one. Got some Super Mario, Golden Sun, but maybe not. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe those games were ones I just wasn't interested in. But I don't think any of those are going to be a good match. And so I'm going to kind of dive into my archive because I have a bunch of these. And so it's AGB-001. I have to decide which one I want. I don't know. This one. I think that just like that classic sticker is going to be the best one. And actually, you know what? I might... This looks a little muddy. So that will not be the one I use. That looks real crisp. It's kind of bent, but it's a lot crisper than the other one. Yeah, this one, that Y. See, some of these, it's just the quality control isn't there. So they just print these off and ship them out, and it's no big deal. So you get ones that are sometimes just wonderful, and others that look like garbage. So I'm going to go with my Game Boy Advance one. Whoops, almost threw the wrong part away. Now I have talked about in another video the way I like to do these for applying these stickers, because if you try to like favor a corner or something, it will it'll look like crap, because these are not made the exact size as that as the indent is. So you have to, I like to center it. I like to stick it right in the middle and then go out from there. So mine's a little crooked, but oh well. I think it looks pretty good. At least it's centered. So I am very excited about this. I wanna turn this bad boy on. Before I do though, maybe let's see how these screens compare to one another as far as brightness goes. And so this is the very first one. I won't put a game in, and then so you can really see. It'll stay on that initial logo. So well, it turned on. Can you see it? No, you can't. Next up is the Game Boy Advance SP 001. Ooh, looking a little better. You can kind of see that one. Oh, yeah, that one does have a game in it. I didn't do what I said I would do. Here. All right, now let's see what this brand new screen looks like. The AGS-101. What? Oh, I didn't turn it on. Wow. Okay. That is a huge difference. Wow. All right, so the original Game Boy Advance, no lighting whatsoever. You can't see it at all. The Game Boy AGS-001, you can kind of see that's that front lit display where it kind of sends it up through a thin piece of plexiglass. And then we have like the true backlit display, and you can see, wow, that looks really fantastic. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna turn this off. I want to see what the world's greatest game, Advance Wars, looks like on this. Oh, it's beauteous. I have to say, I've been playing a lot of this game, and this looks like almost a completely different game on this screen. It looks so amazing. This is fantastic. This is definitely going to be my daily driver as far for playing this game. I mean, yeah, this is fantastic. I'm so pleased with how this has turned out. My Super Famicom version of the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Yeah, pretty stoked on this. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this is helpful to you, and you can use it to do your own mods, or I don't know, play around. If you like the video, hit like. Otherwise, do whatever you want. Toodaloo.